Hola amores, welcome to my first YouTube video. Today I'll show you how to make this gorgeous low-carb keto-friendly charcuterie board, or as I like to call it, a charcuterie board. These are the ingredients that I'll be using and I'll describe them in detail in a minute. What I love about charcuterie boards is that you can whip one up in a matter of minutes. They make a great lighter meal option, and of course they're a beautiful dish for parties or picnics and pair very well with a nice bottle of wine or champagne. For this charcuterie board, I used ingredients that I had at hand since most of them are keto staples, but you can make your own version for around $25 and switch some items out if you want to make a non-keto version, like instead of pork rinds, you can use crackers. Walmart has a box of variety crackers that would be perfect for this, and it's under $3. I'll link them below. I'll also try to link as many of the items you see here in the places where I bought them. Most of the items were purchased at Aldi or Walmart since I'm taking full advantage of Walmart's grocery pickup service, but I have to say that Aldi is the charcuterie board ingredient king. They have high quality cheese and cold cut options for under $3-4. This video is not sponsored, but Aldi, feel free to call me because I love you. The first ingredient I'll be showing you is the keto cracker dupe, chicharrones. They are so good. My favorite brand is Max, and they are a zero carb item. These are the perfect little vessel for dips and provide that crunch factor that a cracker typically would. I'll also be using this cheese variety pack that contains cheddar, a Colby and Jack blend, Monterey Jack cheese with jalapeno, and Swiss cheese. These are cracker cut slices, but I will slice them up a little more since they're kind of big. I also have this marinated mozzarella cheese, which is very, very yummy, and it makes a great addition to salads. For the cold cuts, I have this pack of oven roasted chicken breast and this variety pack of cold cuts that has capicola, calabrese, and salami. Variety packs for the win. This pack of pepperoni that I usually use to make pizza and for snacks. Some dill pickles. I really wanted to add cucumbers, but I couldn't find any. And these sweet mini peppers that are also great for dipping. I love these. I'll also be using some blueberries and strawberries. You have to be careful with the blueberries because their carbs can rapidly add up. After washing my berries, I keep them in the storage container, which helps extend their shelf life. It's one of my favorite Amazon finds, and I'll link it below. I recently found this keto snack mix at Costco, and it's a really good snack option. They're actually also selling it at CVS now. Some raw almonds, and my favorite macadamia nuts. To add a little sweetness to the board, I'll be adding some of these Lily's chocolate peanut butter cups. If you're unfamiliar with the Lily's brand, look them up. They make great sugar-free chocolate chips and bars and have helped me during those rough, sweet craving moments. Let's get started. I like to use different size bowls for things such as dips, which I won't be incorporating today, but they're also great for your pickles, fruit preserves, nuts, or just to add a little visual element to the board. I bought this set of bowls at Macy's many years ago, but Home Goods has a lot of really nice options that you can purchase for this purpose. I started slicing the sweet peppers off camera, but thought you might want to see exactly how I do it. I cut off the stem and slice down the middle. These sweet peppers don't have very many seeds, but at this point I clean out the seeds and slice into strips. They're delicious on their own, but they're great for dipping. Before I start arranging the items on the charcuterie board, I take a moment to prepare and slice every item that needs it. This makes it easier to arrange when the time comes. For the strawberries, you can leave them whole, but I like to slice them in half. I think they look nicer this way. You can also do a combination of both. Today I'll be using 5 strawberries, but at the end you can always add more if you have any gaps you'd like to fill so your charcuterie board looks full. I decided to slice the cheese into this triangular shape and set them aside. You can cut it into squares or into smaller triangles if you'd like. I'll be slicing the rest of the cheese off camera. Now let's put the charcuterie board together. I usually add at least one tray or marble plate like this one to provide a little height and a visual element. This marble cheese plate comes with a handle and a slot for a little cheese knife, but since I pre-sliced all my cheese today, I don't have a need for it, so I'll be removing it. I also have this cheese slicer, which works great for hard cheeses. Marble plates are ideal for cheese spreads because they're naturally cool to the touch, so they keep your cheese nice and fresh. You can also place them in the fridge for a few hours before you use them, and they'll remain cooler longer. I'll link some affordable options in the description. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm all about beautiful food presentations. I believe that every meal is worth taking that extra step to stimulate all of your senses. You can create an unforgettable experience and can visually taste the food before it ever hits your tongue. My tips when putting together a charcuterie board is play with colors, textures, and flavors. You really can't go wrong, believe me. If you're adding dips or spreads, place them near crackers or vegetables for easy dipping. When adding ingredients, place contrasting colors near each other and create patterns. On this plate, I'm going to make 3 rows with the cheese, the chicharrones, and the keto snack mix because I think these colors complement each other. I love adding pepperoni to charcuterie boards because it's a smaller in size item and it gives you a little flexibility when creating patterns. I'll be adding it around the marble plate, and I'll also add a second row of pepperoni by offsetting it a little bit. I've done boards in the past with a row of pepperoni through the length of the entire board and arranged the rest of the food around it, and it looks beautiful. Try to add a little bit of everything in each corner so that everyone around the table has access to something delicious, and as you place your ingredients, take a step back to see how it looks and feel free to move things around. Another tip is, if you're making the charcuterie board for a party, consider your vegetarian guests, since most food items will be touching. You can easily make a smaller version without cold cuts to accommodate everyone. I always think about this because one of my best friends, Cecilia, is a vegetarian, and I would never want her to be excluded from a food tasting experience. I had a bonfire party once, and I was able to find vegetarian marshmallows for her to roast, and it made me so happy that she was able to participate. So please think of your vegetarian friends. Now, I know that the capicola that I'm placing next to the pepperoni is very similar in color, but as you can see, I'm folding them to create a little texture which sets them apart from the pepperoni. Next, I placed the seasoned mozzarella pearls in a little bowl, which I think will be the perfect way to anchor this corner. When you add a little bowl or dish, spread food around it for a more finished look like I did here. Now, I'll be taking the macadamia nuts and creating a little pile. I love using nuts because, like the pepperoni, they give you a little flexibility to move them around after you place them. You can spread them, and for lack of a better word, you can shove them into little nooks and crannies. I also love to place macadamia nuts, strawberries, and chocolate near each other. I think it's a sweet little moment. And they're a perfect example of displaying contrasting foods near each other. I'll also place some pepper jack slices to anchor this other corner. Next, I'm taking these life-saving Lily's Dark peanut butter cups, but instead of just placing them on the board, I like cutting them up in quarters and standing them up so you can see the peanut butter filling, and that way you can also grab a smaller bite instead of shoving an entire chocolate cup in your mouth. I mean, no judgment, believe me, I've done it, but I think that for the charcuterie board grazing experience, smaller bites are fun. We're going to fill in this spot with some almonds and again spread them out. I'll also add some cheese that will mirror the pepper jack. The sweet peppers and Swiss cheese will create a similar color pattern on the other side of the board. Not exactly, but you see that it kind of mirrors the opposing corner as far as the colors go. At this point, your board should be pretty full, so take the rest of your ingredients and find little spaces for them. Don't worry about placing items on top of another because it'll just create a layered look. I'll also be taking this salami and I'll roll it up just to switch the look up a little bit. And I'll be adding the rest of the pepper jack. You can also add a little bit of cheese inside your cold cuts and roll them up. For the chicken breast, I'm going to fold it into quarters and bunch it up, but you'll see that when I display it, I will attempt to stand it up in a way where the folds show, kind of like playing with tissue paper in a gift bag. Did you know that studies show that pickle juice is better than water at reducing muscle cramps and could also lower blood sugar spikes in healthy adults, which is amazing, but we don't want pickle juice all over our board. So I'll be placing these dill pickles in a little bowl and I'll be adding them to this corner of the marble plate. Now, all that's left is pretty much filling in any gaps with the remaining cheese and the strawberries. And also, I'll be adding some blueberries. And there you have it. This baby is done. I added a few toothpicks to the mozzarella pearls for easy grabbing. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll link as many products as I can in the description box. Please let me know if you have any questions and follow me on Instagram. I have a bunch of charcuterie board samples and just all types of beautiful food and other cool things. Please hit that like button, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, because your girl is a YouTuber now. Thank you so much for watching. Besos!